Put that video up with the young man with the 2 minute video praying, It said you'll watch this at the right time. I was like, okay, I just got to watch it. It had advertising. I was like, oh shit. Now, I almost didn't watch it because it had advertising, right? But then I sat and watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty sweet and charming. It is. You do know Jesus is not God, right? Muhammad's not God. Moses is not God. The Lord is the Lord, and God is God. There is no God but God. God is not begotten, nor is God begotten. God always is, always has been, and always will be. God's omniscient, omnipotent. It's explained in the book of Genesis. And then when you understand Genesis and you understand the chronological order of the Bible, and the Lord constantly explaining to people that declare themselves gods that they're not God, and then proving to them beyond any reasonable doubts they can't be God. But people still they have this one most powerful debate: prove God exists. God is the essence of existence, so proof of God is existence. If one does not believe they are alive, then that's why I'm the way, the truth, and life. I am the light and the way. So you get these people, Pastor Daniel, Truth Unleashed. Okay, Truth Unleashed. How do you unleash truth? Truth is evident. Lie is obvious, right? Me and Anna Martinez were talking about it because I was like, they're like, truth is always good. And they're like, well, what about the truth? When people are murdered because people are unfaithful? When people get sick because people are unfaithful? When people are abused because people are unfaithful? Okay, that's the truth having to suffer lie. Truth is always good. Life is sacrifice. You live out your life, you grow old, like the book of Malachi or the stories of Moses. Okay. And you get that thing because I tried to, I just let it go. He disobeyed God and he touched it with the rock for the water to come out. That didn't happen. That's magic shit. You don't walk up to a thing. He doesn't have a magic stick. They all think that too. God gave him a magic stick. You all think your stick is magic. You think that your dick is God's gift to women. Yeah, you got to remember, men wrote down that book that don't act faithfully. I need more money for sex with this woman. She's crazy, right? So you're funny. I know. Have you seen that one where it says world's biggest great white full episode? And you see that picture and it's like, you do know that he's back further in the thing and the shark is coming closer to the camera. That the shark isn't that big to where it looks like he could just swallow the man whole, right? You do know on that National Geographic, it's National Geographic too, using camera tricks to get people to watch your videos, huh? And so, you don't need anyone. How to get ahead even when no one is there for you. Alan Watts. There is no getting ahead. I love Alan Watts. He's really fun to listen to. He's a really sharp fellow. But you don't get ahead, okay? You live, okay? There's no getting ahead. You do what you need to do. Okay. If you're trying to get ahead, you're in conflict with others and with yourself. Okay. Yeah, it's intelligent to sit there and plan. It's intelligent to sit there and have, like when you do your crops, you know what you're doing. Okay. And then when you store your crops, you can share and eat and have then it's not necessarily getting ahead. That's just doing that which is right. It's just understanding right from wrong and good from bad. You know what I mean? Ex-CIA officer reveals how to find the perfect safe house. They'll never find you. Why would you want to go hide from human beings that are living lie and you're accepting that lie? Just live truthfully. If they kill you, then they weren't ready to live truth, right? Oh, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Okay, do you understand? This video will find you once you're ready. It's a little kiddo again. He's doing that to attract attention to people to get them to watch it. Yeah. It's got advertising, but it works. You get that thing and it works. It's like when people get something for their actions, then they keep doing it. You know, like if you get money for being aggressive and selfish, and then you get to go shopping and other people can't go shopping, and you are a total little turkey. There's a little moth. But uh, he went into a death row prison to preach the gospel. Leave him alone. Yeah. Leave them alone. They're there for a reason. You don't preach the gospel, you live the gospels. You got to understand, living the gospels you're not preaching. Okay? Preaching there is just to preach. They don't refer to Jesus as a preacher, they refer to him as rabbi, which means teacher. Okay? When people are doing things wrong, Jesus Christ, is a light in the way. Live truthfully. You're not living truthfully. You're accepting idolatry as reality. You're voting for idolatry. You're letting people invent money and tell you money's real and then let them manipulate you and have delusions of human power and authority with their money. Like Medicare provides health insurance for 1 in 4 Americans and was signed into law. And okay, you can laws are gravity and photosynthesis. If you invent something to manipulate people and then think you're powerful, I'm powerful, you've got to be the right people in power. How about humility and love? No, not how about it. That's what we're going to have. Why? Because I'm not going to ask rhetorical questions, and I'm not going to turn this into I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and why I have to do it. And we have quantum computing now. It's better than Mr. Spock in either alternate universe with Barbara Luna in it. And I was watching that thing, I was like, isn't it? Have you guys noticed how much Jennifer Lopez resembles Barbara Luna? Only Barbara Luna's a lot skinnier. She's a skinny little thing. She's cute. She's adorable. So she's gorgeous. Yeah. But Jennifer Lopez looks like Barbara Luna. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, she looks like Barbara Luna. Yeah. J-Lo looked like Barbara Luna. She does. Yeah. I had a crush on Barbara Luna when I was a kid. Didn't everybody else? Hell, I still have a crush on Barbara Luna. Like I have a crush on Yvonne Elliman and Nichelle Nichols. I think they said Nichelle passed away. Yeah. She was so attractive, just so adorable. I mean, when you sat there, you couldn't help it. When I would watch the screen and I would watch her, she's so pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. Did anybody else have that when they used to watch Star Trek as a kid? I bet you more people than not. I just, gosh, Lieutenant Uhura is so pretty. Yeah, and the way she expressed herself, and then the character was very introspective and had good values and was, she was a good person, the character. And the way Nichelle Nichols reflected that character was like, whoa. But I'd like to get to know you. Yes, I would. I think in reality, she probably had a lot harder and more difficult life to deal with than Lieutenant Uhura. Well, because in reality, she was in Hollywood. And in order to get the parts and keep the parts, it's because of money and not the truth. So, yeah, it's sad. Yeah, when I look at the cumulative, I feel things. I feel, people that I know who they are and they know who I am. You feel cumulative things, and many times, more people have talked to the spirit of me, okay, than probably any other person in the history of the world, okay. There might be Confucius and Krishna and Siddhartha the Buddha, okay. And those would be about the only 2 people in the world that, and Suzuki understands that, but Suzuki, it's a very concentrated thing. They're on an island trying to avoid the people that become abusive, that crystallized Confucius and became abusive and aggressive with it. And so Suzuki, it's very similar, but they're just on an island. It's called Japan, right? Which was, when I watched that one, I watched it, and Suzuki does not like brutality and abuse. And when people capitulate to brutality and abuse, and then when he sees women beating the crap out of each other. So I sat and watched that one, and the guy was, this is a beautiful kick. I was like, there's nothing beautiful about what's going on there at all, But it's not surprising. They do it here in the States. They do it, it's not, it's unsettling that they're just as fucked and stupid in Japan as they are in the U.S. You look somewhere for reason and logic, and you feel like Donovan on Illusion. In this world there is so much illusion, so much controversies, right? And people searching for love, but no one else on earth can it be found. Yeah, it's a good song. A lot of people, there was some tribalism there, okay? And he was, my black people don't see yourself as your pigmentation, okay? If you limit yourself to your pigmentation, you limit yourself to your ego, and you trap the glory of the soul in your mind, okay? So never do that. I've never done that. When I was a kid, no. When I was a kid growing up, most of my athletes that I admired and my favorite athletes were not the white athletes. Most of them were the black athletes. Dennis Johnson, Gus Williams, Gil Sayers, Walter Payton. Most of them were the black guys. And I tried hard when I went play, like I told you, because they made fun of Bob Cousy. They made fun of Pete Maravich and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I want to move like the other guys, and stuff. And that's why everybody told me, Bobby told me, he goes, man, you play black. He goes, your jump shot's like Danny Ainge, but everything else is like a black guy. You move like a black dude. That came from lots of Soul Train and Makes You Feel Like Dancing. Yeah. Make You Feel Like Dancing is the Canadian equivalent to Soul Train, but they had white folks on. I think it was in Toronto. I'm not sure. Don't know for sure. I always thought it came from Montreal, but it was Toronto was also a main economic and cultural quote hub of Toronto. Or it could have been it could have been from BC. It could have been from Vancouver. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I was at a Canadian show. And it was called Make You Feel Like Dancing, and they had one of my favorite bands, Rolls Royce. They used their song for the opening of the show, and they had acts on there. It was neat, but yeah, they had white folks and black folks out there doing all the same things they do on Soul Train in Canada. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But y'all, I'm gonna load this one up, and you do know everything you do that's irrational when especially during this month, where you make all these, quote, horror movies and all this violence and this death and this murder and this, when you glorify things like gratuitous sex and violence, when you glorify death and murder and through violence and irrational thinking and stuff like that, that's illogical, it's irrational, and it's very insane. It's devoid of all logic and reason. Okay, logic and reason is understanding if you know what life is worth, you'd look for yours on earth, and now you see the light. Okay, so stand up for your right. Stand up beautifully. If you can't, I'm doing it for you. Okay? But you guys should be looking for me. You should be looking to say, this is the guy, and you should do this. And if you're not doing that, then you're using your technology to be influential with your money, and your money isn't real, but my love is. Okay, guys? So I'm going to, this one, I think I'm going to go out to the barn and throw up some hoops, and then come back in here and do my resistance training and then crash. I would start, if I was the president, if I was anybody involved in the presidency, I would choose to do the right. If I was in any corporation doing things for money, I would choose to stand up for the Lord's Prayer with me. If you can't do that, if I have to do it for you, you're not going to be able to tell everybody you did the right thing when the time came. All right, peace out.